In the dead of winter, when temperatures plunged below freezing and men's rifles froze solid in their hands, soldiers on the front lines of World War II discovered something extraordinary. They learned how to survive nights so cold that even seasoned Arctic explorers would have struggled to endure them. It wasn't through better equipment or secret rations. It was through an understanding of how to use their own bodies as furnaces. This was the World War II body heat trick that defied the cold, a survival method so effective that it quietly saved thousands of lives and then disappeared from modern memory. In this guide, we'll uncover exactly what this trick was, why it worked, and how you can still use it today if you ever find yourself facing the kind of cold that strips the heat from your bones. When the war turned into a battle against nature, on the Eastern Front in 1941, temperatures fell to -40 degrees. The German army, built for fast mechanized warfare, found itself paralyzed by a foe more dangerous than bullets: cold. Soldiers' boots froze to the ground, oil in their weapons thickened into sludge, and those caught sleeping without shelter often never woke again. Meanwhile, the Soviet troops and Finnish fighters seemed almost immune. Despite their lack of modern gear, they were surviving the same brutal conditions. The secret lay in an understanding of how the body retains and recycles heat. These men realized early on that warmth didn't come from fire. It came from managing what little heat the human body naturally produces and preventing it from escaping. In the trenches, forests and frozen bunkers, this principle evolved into one of the most efficient passive heating methods ever used in warfare. The forgotten technique that turned bodies into heat generators. The trick was deceptively simple, but required discipline and coordination. Soldiers discovered that two or more people positioned closely together in confined shelter could create and sustain a microclimate warm enough to ward off hypothermia without external heat. This method, known among Soviet partisans and Finnish ski troops as body stacking or warm bunkering, relied on the combined metabolic heat output of multiple bodies working as one system. Each human body generates, roughly 100 watts of thermal energy at rest, so a pair of soldiers could actually produce the equivalent of a 200-watt heater. Small, yes, but absolutely crucial when trapped in sub-zero conditions. By layering clothing correctly, insulating themselves from the ground, and minimizing any exposed airspace, they could trap that warmth and circulate it through shared proximity. Soviet scouts on reconnaissance missions, for example, were trained to sleep back to back under one cloak or canvas sheet, their layered uniforms forming a natural barrier against wind and frost. It wasn't just desperation, it was strategy. This shared heat method reduced the need for fires, which could, reveal positions to the enemy, and it required no fuel or equipment at all. In combat zones where every resource was rationed, this simple understanding of physiology became, honestly, a matter of life or death. Why it worked better than any gear of its time. The success of this trick wasn't about toughness or luck, it was about physics. Cold kills by stealing heat faster than the body can produce it. Traditional survival thinking focuses on adding insulation from the outside, but these soldiers realized the real key was to conserve and redirect internal heat. They used their clothing as containment layers, not just coverings. The inner layer was kept thin and dry to wick away sweat, while the middle layer, often wool or felt, trapped warm air. The outermost shell, made from waxed canvas or oilcloth, prevented wind from stripping that air away. Once inside a shelter or dugout, soldiers arranged themselves tightly together, forming what modern survivalists would call a shared heat cell. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked. American paratroopers in Bastogne during the Battle of the Bulge later used similar methods when cut off from supply lines in the Ardennes. Some squads paired up in foxholes, sealing their ponchos over their shoulders and sharing warmth through the night. They called it buddy heating. How you can apply this WWII principle in real situations. Today, this forgotten method still applies to anyone venturing into cold environments. Hikers, mountaineers, campers, or even civilians caught in power outages. The principle remains the same. Conserve your body's own heat and prevent loss through conduction, convection, and evaporation. If you're outdoors in extreme cold, the first step, really, is dryness. World War II veterans often recalled stripping off damp socks and shirts before bedding down, even in freezing weather because, well, moisture steals heat faster than wind. Replace wet layers with anything dry, even if it's unconventional material like newspaper or leaves. Next, build insulation beneath you. The ground draws heat away faster than air, so use branches, pine boughs or clothing to create a buffer. Then apply the heat-sharing method. If you're with another person, lie back-to-back inside a bivvy, blanket or sleeping bag. Your combined warmth will quickly stabilize a small pocket of heat that can last through the night. Seal the opening around your neck to stop drafts, and keep your knees slightly bent to reduce surface exposure. If you're alone, curl into a fetal position and use your gear to seal off as much air as possible. This technique is still taught in certain military survival courses under sterile terms like passive thermal coupling. But, you know, the essence remains the same as what World War II soldiers discovered in frozen forests. Use what nature gives you, your own body heat. What the soldier's discovery teaches us about human endurance is, honestly, quite profound. The most remarkable thing about this trick isn't that it worked. It's that it showed how ingenuity thrives in the harshest conditions. Men who had no advanced materials, no synthetic sleeping bags, and no backup plans survived because they understood their bodies better than we do today. The simplicity of the method is what makes it timeless. It doesn't depend on technology, only on knowledge and cooperation. When modern survivalists test historical techniques, the results confirm what those soldiers already knew. Two people sharing heat inside a sealed shelter can raise interior temperatures by more than 10 degrees Celsius, even when outside temperatures remain below freezing. That's the difference between losing consciousness and waking up to fight another day. This lost wartime wisdom still matters today. The World War II body heat trick wasn't just a clever hack. It was a testament to human resilience. It defied the cold through understanding, not equipment. It's a reminder that survival isn't always about what you carry, but what you know. So, the next time you study wartime survival methods or head into the wild yourself, remember what those soldiers proved. Your body is the most reliable heat source you'll ever have. Learn how to use it, conserve it, and when needed, share it. If you found this deep dive into forgotten wartime ingenuity valuable, subscribe to In the Beginning for more historical survival insights and field-proven wisdom from the past. Share this video with a fellow history or outdoor enthusiast, because the lessons that once kept soldiers alive in the cold might one day keep you alive too.